It is that time of the month, the next JDM Bento Box subscription unveiling. If you guys would like to see what is in the March box, this is going to be fun. We're going to dive through it, show you the baits that are in this month's box. If you guys aren't a subscriber, there's going to be lots of cool info to be said about some of these baits too. Hopefully you guys can pick up some tips and tricks. So if you would like to see what's in this thing, let's have some fun. Welcome to the Hookup Tackle.
What a
stud. Yeah. Look at that.
That was sick.
Woo!
Cheers, my friends. Happy Sunday. All right, guys, some breaking news. What's new this week at the Hookup Tackle?
What a beautiful coastline fish.
Look at that.
Look at that gut on that.
That's a nice fish.
Welcome back, my friends. I've been with the Hookup Tackle, Tackle Otaku on Instagram, being joined by my buddy Jeff ReeRee the King on Instagram. Jeff, good morning.
Another month.
Another month, another bento. I'm just gonna dig right in, okay? Just in case you guys are new here, if you don't know what we're talking about, this is our monthly subscription box. This is a limited box. There's only 400 boxes each month. It's a sold out program, but every month I like to just do an unveiling. Basically, it's $100 for a $100 box. You basically let me shop for you. Each box features a limited run Megabass Vision 110 and Pop Max that are always kind of the stars of the show, and I kind of build some baits around there to give you just some fun toys each month to play with, right? So I'm gonna dive in and we're gonna go. You ready, Jeff? Okay, here we go. First bait of the month. Another chatterbait style bait. This is the third month in a row, I know, but I'm trying to go heavy on these this time of the year since this is the time where most of you guys are gonna throw it. This is one of my favorites. This is the OSP blade jig. Now this is a bait that hopefully someday we'll be able to get over here in the USA. But this is a staple for me, and this is kind of the original inspiration behind the Jackhammer Stealth Blade. This was kind of the first one to incorporate that kind of clear, that hard clear blade on there. This is a really sick bait that has a tremendous hunting action. Now, most of you guys are gonna get the 5/8 size, which is kind of my preferred size in this. The way the blade and the head are shaped, it kind of fishes a lot like a 1/2 ounce. So you're gonna be able to throw it on the bank. You're gonna be able to work it out into, 8 or 10 feet of water. It's in a variety of colors. I just happened to grab this box that had this kind of really cool kind of purple and red and orange color. You can use any trailer you want. They're gonna come with longer strands, so you don't even have to use a trailer, but it does come with trailers, the OSP Action trailer, that are custom color matched to the jig. That's the trailer that's recommended, but you guys could use a Zaco or whatever type of spunk shad or whatever type of bait that you guys usually like on the back of your chatterbait. I think you guys are gonna find this is a really cool one. It's an interesting shape. It's kind of got that kind of crawfishy type head to it, but it has a different hunting type action than what you're gonna get out of a jackhammer. And of course, it's a little bit more stealthy with that clear blade. So bait number one, OSP blade jig. There you go. Number two, we are doing a special 2-pack of soft plastics from Valley Hill. Okay, so Valley Hill, probably one of the more famous brands in Japan. Not as famous here in the US. They don't have a huge product line, but the baits they make are really, really good. So we are doing 2 plastics from Valley Hill this month. We are doing the brand new EB Shad, and we are doing the brand new ReeRee Curly. Okay, Jeff loves this one. You love talking about ReeRees, don't you, Jeff? All right, so let's start here. EB Shad. Now this is a bait. So in Japan, shrimp are much more common. Well, there's no shad. Okay, so shrimp is kind of a main storage or forage for the largemouth there. So they kind of created a bait that has legs kind of similar to a shrimp, but then they put this kind of shad paddle tail on there. So what you end up getting is a bait that has a really nice kind of horizontal flutter, but still has that shad tail kick. So this is gonna be a great one if you guys to fish on a ball head. You can free rig it, you can Jika rig it, you can Texas rig it, you can do all kinds of stuff. You can fish it weightless and fish it very, very slow. Those legs are going to trap water and they're going to just kind of vibrate as it goes through the water, and then that tail is going to be very natural in the back, just kicking. So it's going to be just a nice little subtle paddle tail that you guys can use. It's going to come in a variety of colors, so depending on what box you get, you might get something like a green pumpkin or a pro blue, or there's some whites, some chartreuses, so some different colors, but I think you guys will really like this bait if you try it. It'll be a fun one to try no matter what technique you're into. So there you go, EB Shad, that is bait number 2. All right, bait number 3 is the ReeRee Curly. Now, we launched this bait a few weeks back. If you guys watch our What's New videos, this is kind of just an interesting little curly tail worm that you guys can drop shot, you can Texas rig. So here's how the worm comes out of package. Now you're gonna wanna disconnect it right here, okay? So that you create that curly tail. You can leave the wee on there if you want to. You can cut that off, of course, if you want to as well. It's mainly just used to hold that curly tail in place. But you'll notice up here on the head, it has this little segmented head as well. So if you guys are Texas rigging it or fishing it weedless, you can utilize this piece, and if it starts to tear, you just simply cut it down and then you can re-rig it, and you have the ability to basically use the same worm twice. So just a nice, subtle, little natural curly tail, nothing overly fancy, but curly tails, we don't see that many of them anymore. So it's got really good flavor, really good scent, that kind of squiddy shrimp scent. So I think you guys will catch fish on it. So there you go, the ReeRee Curly from Valley Hill. It's bait number 3. All right, bait number 4 is a hookup tackle exclusive custom color Game Over in the new Versa Shad Fat from Duo Realis. Now this is a new paddle tail that Duo released maybe about 6 to 8 weeks ago, and we had them do our Game Over color custom for our shop, and you guys are the first ones to get it in your hands. So let me open this up and we'll walk through it. Now we've done this color one other time, and we did it in a Osakana slide with Raid. It's essentially kind of our take on albino pearl shad from Megabass. If you guys are fans of albino pearl shad in the mag draft, this is a similar style color. So we kind of borrowed from some of the tones, we tweaked it just a little bit to make it a little bit more bone, but when you hold it up to the light, the color kind of shifts, and you get kind of a very light, pale, kind of turquoisey chartreuse silhouette. And then when it's in the light, you get that nice kind of, you know, white pearl with that red pearl kind of streaking through it. So it's a simple color, but it's a color that's just kind of like the main color that you should have. So it was a color that was missing. I know no matter where you guys are, you're gonna catch fish on it. You can rig this thing multiple ways, but the best way is either just weightless, like weightless EWG. You could use like a 4/0 or a 5/0. Or you could use like an underspin style. You could go 4 to 6/0 depending on, you know, what hook, how far back you're going. I like it with the little, just, you know, like just a weighted hook. Underspin would be a depth control, but the Versa Shad Fat is going to have a real wide movement on the head, and then the tail, you'll notice, is kind of thinned down in the back. The tail on a burn is going to create almost like a vortex type swim. So on a slow retrieve, it's going to be kicking very fast, but the faster you go, the more it starts to even kind of almost like a prop spinning. It's a really cool way to present the bait. If you guys are fishing something like a skinny dipper, this would be a nice alternative. If you're fishing something nice and slow, like a mag draft, something like that, also a good alternative. So kind of good in the whole range of speeds. That's the Versa Shad Fat from Duo. That is bait number 4. All right, bait number 5, we are throwing in an extra Megabass jerkbait. this month. So this is one that I just want you guys to try, and I'm curious to get some feedback on it. So everybody is going to get a Megabass 110 LBO. Okay, now the 110 LBO is a Japan only 110. We don't bring them in very often here to the US. It's not a US supported 110. Now these are going to come in a variety of colors depending on what box you get. You might be getting Frozen Hasu or PM Midnight Bone, Akakane, Megabass Shrimp. So these are all in Respect Series colors. So they're all going to be more on the limited side of the colors. But the difference between a 110 and 110 LBO is this is featuring the LBO weight transfer system. So inside there, when you cast, there's going to be this kind of rocket that shoots to the back, and then it locks into place so that you can fish it with virtually no noise. Now, the difference between a 110 and a 110 LBO in movement, a regular 110, you guys are used to having more of like a darting, twitching type action, right? Kind of twitch, twitch, pause, jerk, 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 pause, and that bait's kind of having this kind of darting motion. The 110 LBO designed more as like a winding kind of motion. So think of it more kind of as a hybrid crankbait twitching bait. It's going to have more of a flashing top to bottom than it is a movement. The back end is rounder to accommodate that LBO weight transfer shift. So it's not going to have that same side to side movement. It's going to have a completely different movement. The advantage of this though is that you can cast this thing like a rocket. So if you need to reach really far places, you need to chuck something super far, this thing will cast farther than any of the other 110s. It's just going to have a different action. So try just winding it and then maybe just giving it a pop every once in a while. It's going to have this really nice kind of top to bottom flash, and then every time you pop it, it's going to just kind of have a little movement to it. So I think it'll be a fun bait to play with. I'm just curious if you guys are into the LBO, not into the LBO, but try it. And like I said, they're all going to be Respect Series colors anyway, so they're all going to be kind of limited drops. So that'll be a fun thing to play with. So there you go. There is bait number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 already. So bait number 5. All right, let's get to the star of the show. So as I mentioned, every month we do a limited edition 110 and Pop Max from Megabass. This is a color I've actually been trying to get them to make since the beginning of the bento box. Finally got it on rotation. It's a color that we get asked about a tremendous amount because it's kind of like the flipper's last grasp in a way, okay? So I present to you Inlet Soda. Now this is a super unique color. I'm gonna take it out so we can really dive through. A very rare color and a super unique color in the Megabass line. So virtually it is a kind of a transparent, almost teal type of color. So it's a very unusual color for Megabass. You have just a touch of like pearl swirl on the belly and on the back just to give it a little bit of that light transparent, almost that like that GLX kind of really light pearl swirl, but it gives it just enough body so that when the light goes through it, it's virtually clear with just a hit of color. Gives it just a little bit of silhouette. So you guys, if you're fishing these baits, which I hope you are, you're gonna absolutely crush it on this thing in clear water. So if you guys are fishing around any type of clearish water, they're gonna absolutely smoke this. Let's look at the Pop Max too. If you're not fishing it, you're just collecting it, well, there you go. You just got one of the most valuable collector colors going on the market. So there it is in the Pop Max. Also, it's super sick in the Pop Max. So again, when you hold this up to the light, it's virtually clear with just that little hit of that teal blue coming through. This is going to be an amazing one when they start feeding on dragonflies, when they start feeding on, you know, little bait, any of that stuff. You guys are going to kill them on this. So there you go. The star of the show this month, Inlet Soda from Megabass in the box. All right, guys, that is a wrap for this month's March box. I hope you guys enjoy going through and playing with this month's items in there. Of course, as always, please tag me as you guys are using it, catching fish. I'd love to see the fun that you guys are having with the box. If you have questions on Anything that we covered, please drop it down below. If you're not a subscriber, we do hold back about 10% of the boxes just as like, just in case kind of boxes, make sure they get delivered, make sure nothing gets crushed, so on and so forth, that we usually release a week or so after we drop these videos. So if that box speaks to you, you might be able to scoop one of those up in the following week or two when we drop those online. So keep your eye out for that. As always, on behalf of myself and Jeff and everybody here at the Hookup Tackle Guys, thank you very much for your business. Thank you for being a subscriber. Thank you for giving us time to watch these videos. We will see you again next month. Enjoy the box, everyone. Peace.